Hello, I'm Jen from Nintendo Players UK. This week is Mental Health Awareness Week, and we have plenty of live streams coming up from communities across the UK, so keep an eye on NPUK's social media feeds for the start times. Today on our NPUK podcast, we have Ant Haigh from NPUK or Wired Productions.
Hello.
And we also have a special guest from the mental health charity Safe in Our World. Hello to Rosie Taylor.
Hi.
So, Rosie, can you tell us a little bit about Safe in Our World?
Yes, I can. So, Safe in Our World is a mental health charity focused specifically on the video games industry, and a lot of work that we do is basically surrounding awareness around mental health and eliminating the stigma around mental health so that people feel safer to work in this industry, to thrive in this industry, but also that extends to players as well. A lot of people play video games for that sense of feeling safe and needing a space to escape from everyday struggles or connect with friends, and so we want that to extend out to the wider community as well and really foster like a more positive discussion around mental health. So yeah, and then I'm Rosie. I work in content and community side of things, so I look after the Safe in Our World podcast, which is always weird to talk about a podcast within a podcast, but here we go. I also run the website where we collate a lot of different information, signposting resources around mental health, specifically in a gaming sense, and generally talk about what we're doing at the charity to make sure that we can get as much awareness as possible.
Oh, that's great. It's great to have a sort of that base in the gaming community to reach out to, because I know our communities are all about inclusivity and safe spaces for people, and that's really important.
Yeah, definitely.
So,
Yeah.
looking at safeinourworld.org, we see that there's a range of games on various platforms that help with dealing with mental health issues. Are there any particular favourites at Safe in Our World HQ?
So we always go to the same few. So Stardew Valley is a massive favorite with both Sky and I. Absolutely adore that game so much. We've got a Safe in Our World farm at some point that me and Jake did on the stream. That's always a great one. One that we use a lot for examples is Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice, because its depiction of psychosis is really well researched and valid, and one of our clinical board members, Paul Fletcher, actually was the consultant for that specific game, and when I first played it, his name is the first one you see in the game, and I was like, that's so cool. So they really took it seriously and really wanted to do it well, which I'm always happy to sing their praises for. And another classic I would say is Celeste, for their portrayal of panic attacks and anxiety. Everyone always talks about Celeste when it's mental health related games, and there's a reason why. It's fantastic. So
yes, we've got an article on Celeste on the NPK website through Indie Insights, which was written by John Edwards a while ago. Nice. He was telling everyone to buy Celeste back then.
Oh, it's such a good game. I'd really recommend it. It's delightful.
What about you?
I don't know. Oh gosh, now you're asking. For me, it's more getting involved with my friends. Sea of Thieves is one I love to play with my friend who actually moved to New Zealand. So it's quite difficult for us to match up, but when we do, we have a whale of a time on that. So for me, it's a connection with friends and being able to share that, and that kind of brings me on to, I know you do, or Jake does a lot of streaming for Safe in Our World on games and things, and they're really, really fantastic streams that he does. Really show off some of the games, and shows off a lot of nice, relaxing and thought-provoking games. So yeah.
Right, we've discovered quite a few games like that as well, that don't initially really look like they're to do with mental health, but it's more about the connections that we have as players. And so
yeah,
Unpacking is another one I think we did on stream, which was, if anyone's played Unpacking, I'm sure everyone's played Unpacking. It's so good. But it's very much like a head empty sort of game that I call, because it's just, you just get to sit down and not think about anything and just put things away, and it feels nice.
You feel like you've accomplished something at the end, don't you?
Yeah, exactly. And you get stickers for putting things in thoughtful places, and I just love it so much. And there was also one that I just wanted to mention called Before I Forget, which is all about dementia and the the processes that people go through when they're experiencing having dementia, which I think is really powerful and something that again proves the weight of which games can provide stories through to players and talk about those experiences and like really broaden our horizons. So yeah, there's so many on the website that I get really excited about, but that's definitely one of them.
Yeah, I'm surprised no one's mentioned Animal Crossing actually, because that's my go-to community game. It actually saved quite a lot of our community during the first lockdown because they had something to focus on where we could all get together virtually.
Yeah,
I actually
it
had
did,
my
yes.
birthday party in Animal Crossing in 2020.
Yeah, I mean
That's my
we've seen
chosen game.
people do like weddings because they got cancelled or whatever, and so they
Yes.
invited all their friends to do weddings, which I think is so sweet.
We had
Yeah,
cupcakes on the beach for my birthday in 2020.
I love that so much.
Yes. We've got Ant here from NPUK's committee itself, but he also works for Wired Productions. Have
Yes.
you've got some close connections with Safe in Our World, Ant, yourself, haven't you?
Yes, so I got involved with Safe in Our World as an ambassador fairly early on. I've always been sort of friends with the teams at Wired, even before I started working for them, and as part of their community. And I knew that they were creating the charity long before it actually was created, and the headache and heartache that it took to actually get it up and running. And then once it was up and running, I became an ambassador and just like to help out. I sort of, although now become very busy working at Wired, I like to sort of dip into the Discord channels and things with them. They do a huge amount, and it's very important. It really is. The training that they provide, Safe in Our World, I'm sure Rosie will go more in depth as to what training is available. But it is really, really fantastic for anyone within the gaming industry. It really does open your eyes or makes you see things from a totally different angle, and allows you to spot things that you wouldn't normally, that there might be an issue or a potential problem coming up, or something that someone just acting differently. It really, really does make you notice those things. And the team that do the training are wonderful. Absolutely, I can't speak highly enough of them. They really are such nice guys. I can't remember their names. What were their names, Rosie?
Andy and Brian.
That's it. Really, really good guys. So I've done 2 lots of training. I've done a mental health first aid, and then I've done another sort of, excuse me, another sort of catch-up one. And both of them have been absolutely superb. And I know that you obviously have lots of companies that support Safe in Our World through donations and helping to spread the word and things like that. But it's the training that you guys give is phenomenal, really. It really does help. So I don't know whether you want to talk a little bit about that training.
Yeah, of course. I wish Sky was on because they are the training absolute whiz at Safe in Our World, and they do everything related to training. But what we basically have is a series of training workshops that we put on, sometimes for free when we can, because I think it's important that people have as few barriers to access as possible. But they're often, so we have them, oh God, words are hard today. They're tailored to the industry specifically, so that when people are training, they're also keeping in mind how it's relevant to their industry, how it's relevant to the way they work, and the dynamics that go on within our day-to-day. We also have done specific training for roles. So we did a community manager training course for free, which we've now trained, I think, 350 community managers in mental health training, free of charge, which is amazing, and basically helps them to set boundaries, to manage their community in a more healthy, sustainable way, and to look at not just their own mental health, but how they can more appropriately support their community and know when to signpost, know when it's too much for them to deal with, and know that also they've just got someone to have their back, because it's a very isolating role for a lot of people. So that was one of the biggest ones that took off, and it was a joy to be a part of and to see so many people getting value from it, which is amazing. But yeah, that's pretty much the training side of it.
So you've got trainings and you've got missions as well. Could you tell us a little bit more about your missions that you do with other companies?
So, well, one of the biggest initiatives that we have with other companies involved is called Level Up. And so that is a commitment for companies to work with us to basically take mental health seriously for the well-being of their teams and the people they work with. And that includes, dedication to training. It includes consultation from our end and provision of resources that aren't freely available to be able to support them in doing that. So whether that's making a policy around mental health or putting in place more wellbeing days, or even just understanding different aspects that can affect our mental health. So we've put on things like menopause awareness training for people before, because that is something that affects a lot of people in the industry, and it's not really looked after or cared about an awful lot, especially when you get up to senior management. There's not much put in place to be able to support people who go through menopause. So there's things like that. We've done burnout courses, basically a lot of different things to be able to support them in not just taking mental health seriously, but keeping that conversation going, because a lot of the time it's very easy to see a well-being channel dry up or kind of get lost because you don't know what else to put out. And so one of the things that I do, because I don't run Level Up, that's again Sky, but we put out monthly themed content around different aspects around mental health. So for example, April was Stress Awareness Month, so we put a lot out about looking at how you can reduce stress, how you can be more aware of the stresses of your personal stress signature and things like that. And so it gives companies an opportunity to look at what we're doing and then try and mirror that within their own companies to keep that conversation afloat, which is great. So yeah, Level Up is one of the biggest ones that we have at the moment, and it is our keystone initiative.
Amazing. So are there any feel-good games that you've enjoyed recently yourself? Firstly to Rosie. What have you been enjoying playing recently? That's feel good.
So I've been playing Dishonored, and I know it's not exactly a feel-good game when you look at it, but it is to me, because I adore Dishonored. The whole series is fantastic, and I recently learned that there was like a spin-off about the outsider, and I found it on Game Pass and was like, oh my gosh, I need to play this game. And it's just brought back so much like nostalgia about playing the first two for me, and being in that universe again. So that's been a huge one. But I've also recently got back into Breath of the Wild in preparation for Tears of the Kingdom this Friday. I'm actually going away on Friday, and so I'm really hoping that it arrives before I leave, because I'm going to be devastated if I have to go away without it. But Breath of the Wild is such a comfort game for me. I talk about it quite a lot with other people as well, but it's one of those things where you can do kind of whatever you want. Like if you want to go straight and fight Ganon and do all the story stuff first, you can do that. If you want to run around and like pick apples and just be friends with people and do little side quests, that's totally fine too. And it's just nice. Like I love that side of a game that has like so many different ways you can play it. So they're the two main ones for me at the moment.
Okay, what about you, Ant?
I think one that I've really had fun with, not just with me playing, but my my daughter playing, is It Takes Two. Don't know whether you've played that one. So it's a two-player cooperative game where you have to work together to get through it. It's an adventure game, and it is just really, really fun. But it also has that quite a difficult sort of story or message that parents are breaking up and the daughter wants to keep them together, so she wants to try and force them to work together. It's really, really fun game though, and really, really different in how it makes you you play, each level's completely different, and how you have to attack things and try and solve to get through them. The levels well worth playing, but it is 2-player co-op, so you have to play it with
I
someone
love a
else.
good co-op game though.
Yeah, it is really good fun though.
Well,
Yeah, me and Jake
feel-good-
played that on the stream, and it was actually so much fun.
It
Yeah.
is, yes.
Well,
Yes,
my
it is
feel-good
really
games
good.
are a different angle completely, because my feel-good games are the fitness games like Ring Fit Adventure, and Fist of the
Nice.
North Star was a recent review that I did. So I'm all about the fitness games myself. But anyway, it's good to know there's such a different contrast of gaming likes just between the three of us alone as well, and it's so vast in the community in the wider sense as well. Right, so are there any websites or socials which you'd like the world to know about regarding Safe in Our World?
Yes, and they're all very easy to go to. So if you're looking for us on social media, everything is just Safe in Our World, other than our Discord, which is discord.gg/safertogether. And our website is just safeinourworld.org, and that's where you'll find all of our resources, support, and basically everything that we're getting up to as a charity.
Bob, easy to find then, yes. So,
yeah, really easy to find. And at the moment, you've got coming up in 2 weeks, you've got a new campaign coming up.
yes.
If you want to tell us a little bit about that, Rosie.
I can, yeah. So this is Play Your Way, a campaign that we've got on the 20th and 21st of May. It's basically all about exploring games in the way that you want to, playing your way essentially, and in the process raising awareness and support for Safe in Our World, so we can keep on with our mission and keep making sure that our industry is safer for everyone.
Perfect round off for Mental Health Awareness Week as well.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
So thank you for joining us, Rosie and Ant, and we do hope plenty of donations will come to Safe in Our World this week for Mental Health Awareness Week. And also, obviously, thanks to all the listeners for tuning in to watch this special NPUK podcast, and hopefully see you soon.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Thank you.